There was a guy on Rogan. I don't know if it was the other day, but I saw it the other day. Like Charles Manson said it, if I ain't seen it before, it's new to me. He was talking about an experience that he had on psychedelics that was very personal to him, but Joe asked him to explain, so he did. To make a long story short, he said that he saw a bunch of cows that were dead in a field. Hundreds of cattle dead. It was very profound to him because he didn't understand like what the fuck was going on. He just thought he was tripping. I mean, he was. But later it come to realize that he was seeing a glimpse of his own future. Because upon returning to wherever he was from Washington State, and there was a storm, it was like a 3-day downpour of rain, and all these cattle died essentially. They drowned. Because the water level rose so much. And he saw the same sight he saw on his trip. And he led off with this experience being very personal to him. And he was an academically established person. I don't know how academically established, I don't remember his name. But I do remember his story. And I remember him telling it because I don't think he was lying. There's no reason for him to go on to Joe Rogan and then have Joe Rogan ask him, and then him say and lead off with, this is a really personal experience. He doesn't give two shits if people believe him or not. There's no reason for him to be lying. And that's the difference these days. The difference these days is that a lot of people really, really, really care, and some rely on the belief of others in their own words because it makes them credible. Like countless videos on the internet that pose fake illusion tricks and say it's real magic. Something along the lines of frankincense, myrrh, and gold bending metal. It's alchemy. It does come from somewhere, the stories, but it's not as simple as that. So naturally people are easy to not believe what anyone is saying. This wasn't the case here because of the predetermined circumstances that I just explained. So he goes to Joe, how do you explain that? How do you explain me seeing a vision of a screenshot? Because that's really life, all it is. It's just screenshots. It's a movie film. If you don't know what a movie film is, it kind of looks like this little square that I'm painting. And there's a bunch of them, and they just kind of go, and there's a shutter, like, and lets you see the movies. Our eyes have the same shutter, and it's not blinking, it's processing speed. That's why when you hit FPS on your phone, if you go to 4K, 60 FPS, that's 60 frames per second. So per second, the little shutter is shutting 60 times. You could find that if you take an app and you slow down the video, you could actually see the increments of these frames per second. So you could take 1 second on your phone right now and break it into 60 separate smaller parts of a second, which is ironic because there's 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute, so on and so forth. I think there's about, I don't think the 60 is milliseconds because I believe that whatever scale we're on, what the fuck is it called? Not the metric scale, but the Fahrenheit, I guess, hasn't gotten down that far. See, metric scale has milliseconds. Anyway, that's what I believe is happening here with my painting. I'll share a story with you that's a little personal, but I'm not going to divulge the name, obviously, of the person involved because they probably don't want to share it. But I don't know if she follows me anymore, and even if she does, nobody else is going to know who the hell you are. So there's no reason for you to get mad. So I was talking to this person on TikTok, and we had a couple of similar interests. I had some questions, she had some questions. She shared some interests with me, I shared some with her. It was a nice little stint of a relationship digitally, I guess. There was no physical touch. I've never seen the person in my life in real. I've never even FaceTimed her. It was just over TikTok. All right, so relax with the whole relationship. I meant digital relationship, because in these days, and you'll see, unless the power goes out, soon digital relationships are going to be more important than physical relationships. And to women, they already are, because women cheat emotionally, men cheat physically. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's true. I mean, obviously women also cheat physically and men also cheat emotionally, but for the most part, men are more upset if a woman sleeps with another man, and a woman is more upset if a man actually has feelings for another woman other than sleeping with her. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Anyway, that's what I see. I see somehow, in my own distorted, convoluted Terence McKenna sort of way, who's another person whose name I do remember because it's a nice name. And he's very, very interesting as well. Also very academically sound. And basically your mind is like a filter, in this case, like an orange tree filtering water that it takes from its roots into an orange. So if you bite into an orange, it's juice, right? Juice is mostly water, but that water has been filtered by an orange tree. It went through the roots, it went through the flowers, it became yada, 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 and you bite it, the orange, and you still get that juice. All that other bullshit that's in it, like sugar, vitamin C, the pulp, the pith, everything, is imparted in the water. But water can be isolated from all this stuff just simply by boiling it. Just heat it up to 100 degrees and off it goes. Everything else gets left behind. That alone should like baffle your mind. Just fucking blow your mind away, because like, how the fuck is that even a thing? This water stuff permeates everything. It essentially is, it goes through everything. Not even air goes through everything, like water does. Water becomes a part of whatever it's in, and then when it's ready to go, it goes back into the atmosphere. Recollecting itself, by the way, into this, right, the same atoms, right? So as the water's vapor is passing through the air, steam is collecting other bullshit from the air. And then it comes back into together to form a drop, and then freeze it and becomes that ice molecule of whatever the air collected. You put that in your drink, you get some methane gas in your drink. You're like, who farted in my drink? Well, it wasn't anyone in the room. It was Max fucking 10 years ago. This was, sitting on ice since then. That's just how it works. Apparently. I don't know. I've never really followed water that closely, but apparently, I'll take it for granted. So if you believe that, which is pretty scientifically proven, it would be silly, even for those same scientists proving it, to believe that person could not see a glimpse of the future. You're insane if you think that that's not the case. Just because you can't prove it, put it down on paper, like, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, you idiots. Just because I can't move a fucking 16-wheeler with my fucking mind doesn't mean that I can't move that paper or that little piece of foil there. Because I can't. Fuck you for telling me I can't. Prove me wrong. Light, there's heat, there's air, there's breath, there's there's not though. There's not. Because if I could put you in my shoes when that shit moved, when there was none of those conditions applicable, you would shit your pants just like I did. And all your scientific method would go right out the fucking door. And you know why it would be the worst? Because nobody would believe you because of your scientific method. So that's what's happening here. I'm seeing a glimpse of my own future. Or, actually, someone else's future. But it only becomes mine if they share me with it. So like, if this is a scene that's going to happen in your life 10 years from now, 10 days from now, similarly, it's not going to be this colorful, it's not going to be these same, but it's going to be, you're going to look at this painting and you're going to be like, holy shit, I fucking saw this 5 days ago. Or 10 years ago. That's how much it's going to kick you in the nuts. And you share it with me, you find me, you're like, yo, you painted my shit 2 weeks ago. Now that becomes a part of my life, because before I didn't know that, I was painting it, but I didn't know what the fuck I'm painting, because I don't have a theme, I don't have a plan, I'm just going. I'm talking to you, I'm just going. Putting colors and lines, there's some of them squiggles, I don't know what the fuck this is. It changes every time I look at it, like there's different things. Like this face, I can't, fuck that shit. All of them are like that. It changes, you see, you can tell. Because I think that I'm recreating different scenes. Maybe this is one person's life and I'm just painting their life. Maybe it's Maybe it's not even a person's life. Maybe it's the place. I'm painting a place, the existence of a place, what happens inside of a place or next to a place. And the way that I figured this out was that someone had told me something that happened to them. First, they told me that they didn't want to talk to me. They thought that they got a little shook that I said something or I did something. I don't remember what it was. I posted about something that was eerily related to their life. I honestly don't remember the detail, but just picture something like that. Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know what? I gotta stop talking to you because, like, I don't know what's going on. I just gotta, cut you off. And I was like, okay, sure. I mean, I'm not wasn't pursuing this person. I wasn't stalking them, nothing. It's just something that I posted that they reached out to me about. They're like, yo, I can't do this no more with you. And I was like, sure, whatever. So then the person waits a couple weeks, I guess, and texts me something or other like, hey, how you been, by the way? I never sent you that gift. She was gonna send me a crystal or a necklace or something. I don't know. She never did. The person has a little bit of depression, they admitted, and they were going through some shit, which is perfectly understandable. I would never expect anything from them anyway. It's not like I'm not doing this because I needed something from them. I was doing this because I was talking with them. In fact, I was trying to help. I was like, hey, try this, try that. She was like, yeah, I get it. But what happened then was we had a conversation about what went on in her restaurant where she worked a couple of weeks before that, or a couple of days before that. Apparently she passed out to the point where she had hit the floor. The managers had to take her to the hospital. She was dead for a certain amount of minutes or seconds, I don't know, whatever it was. And enough not to be brain dead, basically, the paramedics told her. And she, came to, nothing to do with me. She saw entities when she was gone. She didn't know who it was. And she saw a couple of things there was a manager kneeling next to her when she woke up, and there's somebody else there, and there was another entity that wasn't sitting or laying down, or something like that. So then I did a posting of my paintings, right? And she goes, that one, what is that? I'm like, what? So she draws out the map of the restaurant. So, okay, when you're in the restaurant, you have seating charts, like table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4. That's a map. And this map tells the people, the servers, the hosts, the food runners, which are the people that take the food to the table, where to take the food. It's called the restaurant layout or the floor plan. She goes, that painting that you drew is the floor plan of my restaurant. And where I passed out is exactly where the part of the floor plan you drew. And I never told you that there was the third person that was neither kneeling nor standing. He was kind of there. It was kind of in the middle, kind of there, hazy. And I still have the painting, although I've painted over it since, I think. And it literally depicts 1-to-1 the floor of her restaurant. If you put it there is no possible way that this could have been a coincidence, nor is there any possible way that it could have been me painting a floor of a restaurant, because I don't really look at floor plans too much. And this was already on quarantine, so I wasn't really working in a restaurant that required me to look at floor plans. Could it be by chance that exactly the tables were exact? It's pretty wild. And furthermore, she goes, when I went into it, she goes, when I passed out, there was a third entity and you could see clearly 3 people standing, just 3 circles like this. The people didn't look like people. They didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes or dark hair and whatever. They looked kind of like this. You see that little green, bluish head with an arm, and it kind of looks like something like the Heisman guy or something, There was 3 entities like that, and there was another blurred one. So needless to say, we haven't spoken since. But just thought I'd share that with you.